Hey everybody. So I pretty much got rid of all vices last 2 months, with the exception of one thing. That one thing would be sugar, something I've been struggling with for a while, but gave up drinking a long time ago, but really solid the last 2 months. Gave up smoking and gave up all forms of entertainment about 2 months ago. Literally, I don't partake in any form of entertainment, video games, TV, any of that stuff unless I'm training, like doing my morning cardio sessions. And during that time, the only things I watch are either motivational or studying, like business promotion, music promotion to promote my page, or just health and fitness, studying knowledge, positive podcasts. Aside from that, no entertainment unless it's time for me to be with my son once I shut my work down and play whatever games he wants to play. I don't ever choose, unfortunately. Or, whatever movies he might want to watch before bed. So my back steps have definitely gotten smaller, but something I've struggled with about 4 years. And I mean, it's brutal, and I'm ashamed and embarrassed to say I still struggle with it. And it's so surprising after not having any issues with any vices for so long, and then developing a crazy sugar habit. And when I say crazy, I mean, it's fucking off the rails. It's really deterred me from a lot of my goals, and more importantly, really held my son back from doing better activities on days where I have too much overconsumption, end up feeling too shitty or looking too shitty, feeling too shitty about myself to take him out to do better activities that are better for his health and mine. So anyways, anyone else out there struggling with these things, I feel for you. I feel you. It's tough. Sugar can be sugar is as strong as a drug, and you can develop an addiction for it that's as difficult to break as a drug, that's really as pulling and like captivating and all mind consuming. Trust me, it's a ongoing struggle for me, and I will conquer it, but for now we're still in it. So binge eating has been the main issue. You wouldn't believe how big my back steps have gotten because of this issue. I don't want to go too far into this subject or too detailed with this small point, but just for context, say you go to a place like Crumble Cookie and you can eat every cookie on that fucking menu. Every cookie there is about 800 calories. They have 6 flavors. I will eat every one of those motherfuckers. It's 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, about 4,800 calories. Even if you eat half of them, it's massive. Even if you had a clean diet all day, ran your ass off, or even fasted and didn't eat all day, you go to a place like that, get yourself 3, 4, 5 cookies. The fucking weight and inflammation that you can develop on your body within 1 day's time is unbelievable. You can be doing everything right, make that one mistake and just have a massive detriment to your body, your health, your joints, inflammation, weight gain. It's heartbreaking, especially if you're someone that puts so much time into the gym, making all the right decisions. You make one wrong one, that's just massive and you don't even realize it. But that one cookie being 800 calories thing, you know how massive that is for a little child? When you take them, they get one cookie, maybe they have a cookie and a half or two, and that's 1,600 fucking calories. Next day that child wakes up with over a pound of extra body fat on them. Long story short, it's huge. A place like that is so fucking unhealthy. Yeah, they might have their place. Yeah, some people can control it, but no kid should be fucking going there. That's just as bad as giving your child some fucking alcohol. Having them put on that much weight in that short amount of time is just unacceptable. All the detriments that the gluten, the sugar, and all these things will have on your child's body. It's unbelievable. Not to mention the bad habits that you would be inflicting upon them. That could be a future challenge for them as well. Didn't intend on going on a rant about sugar and Crumble Cookie, but a lot of people don't understand just how fucking unhealthy that shit can be for your kid. Some aspects you might as well just be taking your 10-year-old for a fucking beer. It's that bad. Anyways, back to my back steps. They have gotten smaller, but I've had an issue with overconsumption with sugar when presented with situations on like outings. Me being a full-time videographer, it's really hard for me to say no at every wedding. There's always sweets around, or every quince or birthday that I shoot, and there's a lot of them. I'll be doing good all day, all week. And as I get around those things, it's like I have food FOMO around sugar, and I want to try every fucking pastry on that table at that wedding or at that event. It's been an issue. So yesterday I had a slip up. It's funny, they actually had Crumble Cookie at my nephew's graduation. I overconsumed, and once I do, it's like a lot of the time it's like opening the floodgates. I overconsumed a little bit more after. Nothing super crazy, but anyways, back steps. So my goal today, and what I want my ongoing goal to be for the next few weeks, is exposure. So the first thing, in assessing my problem, as I said, I noticed that it's an issue to be around temptation, which is some fucking bitch shit. I shouldn't be caving every time I'm around a fucking pastry if it's not conclusive to my goals to not break that diet. It's fucking ridiculous. But because I did, the very first thing that I decided to do this morning, consciously once I left work, I told myself I'm gonna stop at a donut shop. And I'm only gonna order a black coffee. So that's what I did. Went to the donut shop, faced my temptation, and only ordered me a black coffee. And it was delicious. Probably not as good as a donut, but that's okay. It felt a lot better spiritually. So I said, man, there's a lot of time left in the day. I'm shooting a wedding tomorrow, and I know I'm gonna be around temptation. And I'm wanting to stack these wins. I've had this in the back of my mind for a while now, to get exposure and temptation and stack these little wins to get over this stupid fucking addiction and habit of not being able to say no when I'm presented with my sugar addiction. So that was step one. The next thing I did, I'm about an hour and 20 minutes into this run/cardio session, and I just been running past all these fucking pastry shops. I ran past a donut shop that I used to sit at a lot of mornings with my book when my binge eating issue would be at its worst. Ran around there, ran past Crumble Cookie, which was, I don't know, about a half mile away from that one. Circled around there a couple times and ran past a Mochi Nut, which is another like pastry donut shop I'm sure you guys are familiar with. So anyways, did a couple laps around all the places that I'm usually very tempted by, and I'm sure that I will be still tempted by on other days. But I think it's a good mental practice just to expose yourself to your addictions so you can get around that issue of not being able to say no when you're presented with them. Just like it's a huge step for an alcoholic to be around people like consuming alcohol when they're trying to get over their addiction, or for drugs when they're trying to get over a drug addiction, being around friends who are doing it. So it's the same premise, the same strategy that I'm using. And I've used this strategy for other things and it's worked well. So I'm gonna use it for this now and try to make it a regular practice to go into pastry shops, order just a coffee, going to Crumble, maybe even just order me a fucking water. Going into whatever place tempts me the most, ordering the water, leaving, and following through with my diet for the rest of the day. Just stacking these wins and stacking that emotional confidence. So I know that if it's not conclusive to my goals, anytime I'm presented with my temptation, that I can say no. I should have already fixed this problem, but I haven't. What I can tell you is that I've used this strategy for other things. I've used this strategy of exposure to get over fears, of anxiety, when it came to consuming caffeine and driving in general. When my anxiety was at its absolute worst and I was in and out of the hospital, all of a sudden, once my anxiety attack started, I noticed I couldn't drive. It was wild. One of my favorite things to do is drive. But I couldn't drive without having a fucking panic attack. Arms and hands would lock up, face would go numb. I'd have to pull over, almost crash, almost lost my job because of it many years back. And then all of a sudden as well, when these anxiety attacks started, I couldn't consume coffee. A sip of coffee would give me a massive fucking panic attack. So I'm like, all right, after it being an issue, I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the corner store, give me a fat ass coffee, chug it, and get behind the wheel and drive until I get over this irrational fucking fear of driving and drinking coffee. And you know what? It may not have been the healthiest thing, but mentally, it damn sure fucking was. Mentally, it was probably the best fucking thing that I could have done to face my fears, get over this mental condition that I was developing that could have become so much worse, that I could have tried to mask medications instead of physical acts, just like I used with my fitness to also help me get over my panic attacks that could have been the end of me. So again, the two things that I feared the most, I faced them head on until they didn't affect me anymore. Coffee, chugged it, fat ass cup, got behind the wheel, drove. And I did that until it didn't give me anxiety anymore. And that shit worked. I don't think it happened the first time, but after a few times, it worked. Fat cup of coffee, driving. All of a sudden I could drive again. And it meant the world to me. I wish more therapists out there and more people in a position to help people could tell people that these options are available without having to take a pill. Because the problem with that pill, a lot of the time, is that it's only gonna work when you take that fucking pill. When that pill's gone, your anxiety's back. So what can you do that's holistic? What can you do as a strategy or a tool that you can use every day that's beneficial and not detrimental with no side effects? Exercise is one. So if you can develop these tools like exercise to relieve anxiety or these other things like facing fears, instead of taking the pills that you're just gonna become dependent on, wouldn't you rather be dependent on doing 20 push-ups to get over your panic attack instead of a pill that's causing all these malfunctions in your body that you aren't even aware of the full extent of? Anyways, All these pointers can help people. I'm gonna keep it honest and keep my progress posted on this page because it means something to me, and I hope it means something to other people too, and it's able to help anyone dealing with some of the similar issues that I've dealt with myself, with massive addiction, massive panic attacks, anxiety, depression. I'm managing mine well now. It's because of all these tools that I've had to learn and develop the hard way. So I hope that they can help other people, because if it weren't for these tools, I don't think my son would have a daddy. I don't think my mother would have a son, because I've been on the edge of suicide so many times, feeling like this wasn't worth it to push on anymore. Going such long periods without able to feel any form of happiness or any form of hope. And even on my darkest days now, I know that within a matter of hours, it might take some work, that you can turn that shit around and find hope again. So I know how dark things can be when you don't feel like you have any hope. This is a long video. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope it's able to help someone. Love y'all. Later.